Hey, this is the Keys to Closing with Kin & Co Realty Group. My name's Ben, and this is my co-host.
I'm JC.
And today we're going to be talking about our top 10 hidden costs to purchasing a home. And today's video is on HOA.
So Ben, why don't you tell me about HOAs? Homeowners Association.
So HOAs, yeah. So it's one of the bigger topics, I would say. There's a ton of information on the back end of what an HOA does, how it helps, how it can hinder you. But that's not the focus. Today, the focus is on how much it costs and why it's a hidden cost. So HOAs, they have CC&Rs or covenants, restrictions, and things you're allowed to do with the property. A lot of times people don't look at, assessments and future assessments for work. So typically an HOA is going to be something that we think of when you are moving into a condo or a really, really nice neighborhood where, everyone's getting their lawn done by the HOA. It's a hidden cost because it greatly affects your monthly payment. And that's what, we really want to, raise awareness around is you might be approved for a certain amount and you're looking at different homes and then you go to send that particular home to your lender just to verify and they say it's completely out of budget. And it's because HOAs, they impact your monthly expense right there. And then on the back end of things, it's really important to look at all the documents and everything that comes along with an HOA so you know what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. And then assessments, those are future developments of a property. If it's a condo and you share a building, the siding needs to be redone at a certain point, the windows, the roof, all these things are going to be built into that HOA fee. And so sometimes you might come across a building that has a great HOA, but then there's going to be this huge future assessment where every single person who owns part of the property is going to, pay $30,000-$40,000 towards it. So it can become, pretty expensive pretty quickly. So you got to really watch out for that.
Yeah, and what are the documents that your realtor is going to send you in regards to an HOA if there is one for the property that a buyer is interested in buying?
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to contact the HOA in some way, shape, or form. Our MLS systems do provide typically how much your annual or biannual or whatever the fee payment is for your HOA, and so we're going to be able to collect that data pretty quickly and give that to you. But then as you show more interest in a property, like I said, we'll reach directly out to the HOA and see if there's any future assessments coming up. And we can also double verify by sending this to the lender. Typically they're pretty good at making sure we have accurate numbers on how much it costs. But what documents you look into are going to be those CC&Rs are going to be the biggest one. They're going to show you what's coming up, future assessments, things of that nature, and then what's allowed with your property and how you use it.
Okay, and what do buyers typically think about HOAs? What do you hear most from when you're shopping with buyers?
Yeah, first and foremost, a lot of people, they don't want a property that's in an HOA. We hear a lot of, please stay away from them. There's a time and a place where they're necessary, and I personally have been in a great HOA before, and I've also helped clients, deal with not so nice HOAs. Really getting a feel for how the HOA is being ran is number one. If you have clear communication, there's lots of meetings, notes from the meetings. Those are all very important for a client to look at. And it can give you an idea of if the HOA is being ran really well, the management and things of that nature. An HOA with a big reserve or a lot of money, put to the side, and lots of meetings and good clear communication is a great sign that HOA is probably pretty well off, and it's probably going to be a great community to be involved with. And it's going to vary on what you're buying: condo, townhouse, single family home in a residential area. They're all going to be pretty different. The other thing about that is if you want to be involved in an HOA with like a community center and a community pool, it's almost the only way you can be in one of those. You have to kind of bite the bullet and be involved with this HOA so you can get those other amenities. So, it's a checks and balance.
Yeah. And this could be a whole nother video, but what is the difference? We do have some manufactured home buyers in parks. So what is the difference between like an HOA or a manufactured home in park fee? Because you're purchasing that or leasing that land instead
Yeah.
of purchasing it. So.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty similar to an HOA in terms of they may have some kind of a reserve fund for the community because you might have community center, but you're really just renting the land. And so you're paying for the management of the people or the management group that's running the land. Just like you would if you're renting a home, you have no power or investment in the actual property itself. It's just you're renting that land. So all of that money is going to be going to paying those people or, running just the management of the property. Hey, well, thanks for coming by. This is the Keys to Closing by Kin & Co. Realty Group. My name's Ben.
I'm JC.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe right down at the bottom. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Sayonara. I was going to say see you guys next time, and you took it.